Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
We are a generous and welcoming people here in the United States, but those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants.
Okay, what's going on, everybody? We're here, we're live. Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, as always, make sure you're following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. You will not miss a notification, and you don't have to deal with YouTube foolishness of how they just miraculously unsubscribe people when you're following me on Telegram. Link to my Telegram in the description box below, and we pin in the comment section once this stream ends, and it's also pinned in the live chat right now if you're watching live. So let's get into this, man. The Kilmar Abrego Garcia story is just a story that won't go away because DNC lunatics will not let it go away, right? Despite the numerous L's taken yesterday and over the course of the last, you could say, 48 hours, where all of Abrego Garcia's paperwork was released showing that he is definitely indeed a confirmed MS-13 gang member. And not only that, but he is also an abuser of his wife, right? As we saw per her police report and statements and restraining order that she put on him. Nonetheless, these DNC lunatics are just hell-bent on defending him. As I speak right now, we have Senator Van Hollen, who is doing a press conference. I was recently just, on the main page of YouTube before going live, and Senator Van Hollen is doing a press conference right now on his meeting and defending his meeting with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And that's what we're going to discuss today, because many of us yesterday were thrown off when we saw this photo here, when the president of El Salvador uploaded these photos, posted these photos, and put the caption, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, miraculously risen from the death camps and torture, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. Many of us were thrown off at first. I know I was really thrown off when I first saw this photo here and that he posted it. Many of us thought that this was AI. Like, wait a minute, this can't be real. You said that you're not returning him. And Van Hollen, he spoke with the VP of El Salvador, and he said, I want to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And according to Senator Van Hollen, the VP said, no, you can't meet up with him. So when these pictures came about, I thought to myself, oh, well, of course, Bukele's trolling. Bukele's clearly trolling, but he wasn't. He wasn't trolling. These photos are real, and Van Hollen did meet with Abrego Garcia. They permitted it. Bukele, the president of El Salvador, would then go on to retweet that post and said, now that he's been confirmed healthy, he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody. And then that's when it all started to make sense to all of us, for the most part, right? What's going on here? Bukele would go on to, after that post, put, I love chess. So what's happening here right now? Well, ever since the MS-13 gang member and woman abuser Kilmar Abrego Garcia was sent and deported to El Salvador, you had the mainstream media DNC press constantly referring to Bukele as an authoritarian, right? And making up these stories about how Americans are being disappeared off the street and sent off to the gulags of El Salvador, where they're being tortured in these hellhole prisons. Well, when you start posting photos like this up of a U.S. senator, an insane U.S. senator by the name of Van Hollen, who's now meeting with this known MS-13, known woman abusing gang member, sipping margaritas in what appears to be a 5-star restaurant in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. Well, that pretty much destroys all conversation and dialogue concerning Bukele being a dictator, an authoritarian, who's unreasonable, who's torturing prisoners and torturing Kilmar Abrego Garcia. All that is out the window because clearly Abrego Garcia is doing just fine. And I thought what was very interesting about this is that they knew what he was doing. Their team knew what they were doing when they set this meeting up. They made sure that this guy was looking super clean in very vibrant colors, wearing a Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl hat. They even lined his beard up. They made sure this guy was clean because now, as far as PR is concerned and the media wars are concerned, the last images of this man is not that of someone in shackles, right? And it's not that of someone who's, wearing his Bulls hat, which was, MS-13 attire, right? Unfortunately, they've turned that into MS-13 attire. It's not these images that people look at and the DNC tries to make you feel bad for the guy. No, the last images of this guy is him looking very vibrant in good spirits, literally sipping margaritas with a U.S. senator. And then this also continues to show and goes to show how foolish and ridiculous these DNC lunatics actually are. Because look at this here. Boom. While Senator Holland, a DNC lunatic, is sipping margaritas with a known gang member and woman abuser, we have Donald Trump here with the mother of Rachel Morin, right? Rachel Morin's mother visited the White House yesterday, I should say. Rachel Morin is a woman who was brutally killed by an illegal immigrant while she was hiking in Maryland, right? Now, mind you, we're talking about Maryland. This woman that you see crying here because she lost her daughter to an illegal immigrant, that is Van Hollen's constituent. But Van Hollen is not meeting with Rachel Morin's mother. He's not meeting with his constituent whose daughter died at the hands of an illegal immigrant. Instead, what he's doing is sipping margaritas with a known violent MS-13 gang member in El Salvador. This shows the contrast between the two parties, what they represent, and what they're about. This goes to show why, once again, as I love to point out, the DNC has a 21% approval rating. Because while Trump is staying committed to the promise of putting America first, which you can see here in this photo, the DNC continues to lay hold to essentially what their promise is too. America last, illegal immigrants first. That's what you're seeing represented here in this photo, right? This man is literally sitting here consoling a woman abuser. What happened to protect all women? What happened to believe all women? So you're telling me now you don't want to believe the police reports? We're not going to believe the police report and the written statement of the very man's wife that you chose to meet up with, who said that on multiple occasions this man would put hands on her, so much so to the point that you have a written statement signed by her trying to get a protection order because that's how scared she was of this man that you're meeting up with here. These DNC lunatics are unbelievably stupid. Unbelievably stupid. I mean, it's actually quite mind-blowing. It's quite mind-blowing, right? And I want to take a moment to really highlight this, how much of a monster this guy is, that Van Hollen and the Democrats are so desperately trying to defend. I want to play a video of you guys right here. So Kilmar Abrego Garcia's wife freezes and refuses to answer why she asked for protective order against him in 2021. Let's take a look at this video here. This is today. She was asked point blank about the protective order that she placed on her husband. And look at how she answers this question. So what I want to do right now is I'm going to take this down for a quick moment, only to bring it back up, and I want to play this video for you guys. So give me just a moment as I'm pulling this down to bring the video up. And while I'm doing so, please make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and share this video out on your social media platforms. Give me just a moment while I bring this up. Now let's take a look at this. And this is actually quite sad, honestly. This is actually very sad. But look at this here.
I have to ask it. You did take out a temporary order of protection against your husband in 2021. Were you in fear of your husband?
Husband is alive. That's all I can say.
Okay, and you know I'm not going to push on that apparently, but how much hope? I have to ask it.
Wow, she is still terrified of this man. Still, he's all the way in El Salvador, in an El Salvadorian prison, seemingly never to be returned, and she's still terrified. This is something that she could have easily played off. She could have easily, to some degree, talked her way around it. Oh, you know, it was a long time ago. We've gotten therapy since then. We've, mended the relationship, yada, yada, yada. She could have played this off very easily when she was asked that question. What you just saw in her answer was fear. Still. And this is who the Democrats are defending. I want to play this one more time.
I have to ask it. You did take out a temporary order of protection against your husband in 2021. Were you in fear of your husband?
Husband is alive. That's all I can say.
Okay, and you know I'm not going to push on that apparently, but how much hope?
That is crazy. That is nuts. And once again, like I said, these lunatics are bending over backwards still to find ways to defend this foolishness. Look at this here. I want you to look at this video here from MSNBC. All right. And we're almost going to be out of here in a moment. Look at this. Watch MSNBC cut away from Oval Office coverage immediately in all caps as President Trump started reading details on MS-13 terrorist Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Look at this here.
In 2019, Garcia was issued a deportation order. Two separate judges affirmed Garcia was a member of MS-13, which is a gang that may be even worse.
We've been watching President Donald Trump there swearing in the new administrator of the CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, Dr. Mehmet Oz, during this conversation.
When I say they're lunatics, I say it for a reason. It's not just because it's funny and ha 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 and DNC lunatics. This is insanity, the way they're bending over backwards to protect this guy that they know is an abuser of his wife and who we just saw is still very much afraid of this man. But they cut away in the middle of President Trump giving the details surrounding Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Let's watch it one more time.
In 2019, Garcia was issued a deportation order. Two separate judges affirmed Garcia was a member of MS-13, which is a gang that may be even worse.
We've been watching President Donald Trump there swearing in the new administrator of the CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, Dr. Mehmet Oz, during this conversation.
These people are sick. These people are sick. But what does give me what does make me happy, I'll say, right, for lack of better words, is the fact that the people are able to see through the foolishness, right? They're able to see through the BS. I want to play this video here in closing of CNN reporters discussing the polling, right, behind American citizen support for mass deportations and their support behind what Trump has been doing so far. What these polling numbers show and indicate is that all of the interference that these DNC lunatics have been running in order to frustrate the mass deportation effort, all of the interference they've been running concerning fake headlines about Maryland dad mistakenly deported and things of this nature, it simply isn't working. It's not working at all. Check this out.
Why is Trump focusing on immigration? Let me just tell you, this is where Trump wants to focus. Pretty pleased with a cherry on top. Why is that? Look at Trump's net approval rating on immigration. Compare where we are now, compare where we were at this point in his first term. In his first term, he was underwater at minus 12 points. Look at where he is today. He's actually above water. This is one of his strongest issues at plus 1 point. And more than that on the net approval for him on this issue has stayed steady in the positive. This is an area where Donald Trump wants to focus because the bottom line is this is an area in which the American people, at least the bare majority of them, seem to like what he's doing.
And you've shown the impact on how people feel about his handling of the economy and what he's been doing. So let's stay here with this. Compare where he is on immigration to where Biden was. We know that this was why he leaned into immigration so much.
Yes, this is a big reason why. So take a look here. This is on immigration. What track are we on? The right track or the wrong track? Look in December. Look at the percentage who said we were on the wrong track. 62% of Americans when Joe Biden was in office, compared to just 14% who said that we were on the right track. Flash forward to April. Well, hello. 45% say we're on the right track compared to 42% who say we're on the wrong track. So in a big switcheroo from where we were back in January, the plurality of Americans say that the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy. Back in December when Joe Biden was president, the vast majority said that we were on the wrong track. Again, this points out that on the whole, Americans like where we're going on immigration policy under Donald Trump, which is very different from where we were under Joe Biden.
Because we're getting what we voted for. This is what we wanted. All these small violins that these DNC lunatics are trying to break out right now for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, it's just making them look worse and worse and worse. It makes them look more insane than what we already knew them to be. And as I love to point out and rub in their face, this is why your approval rating is 21%. And I'm curious to see every week, there's updates on these approval ratings. Typically they come out on a Sunday, during the Sunday news shows. I can't wait to see. I have a feeling that their approval rating probably dropped down to about 15, maybe 11 now. Maybe 11 now. They have no support. But how do you support this type of insanity? How do you support this type of stupidity? Really think about this in closing, and then we're going to shut this thing down. While a Maryland senator is bending over backwards to fly over to El Salvador to meet with a known MS-13 gang member who abuses and puts hands on his wife. All this is confirmed. His wife signed the paperwork and fill out a statement. While he's doing that, his very constituents are meeting with Donald Trump over the fact that one of his constituents lost their lives at the hands of an illegal immigrant, as opposed to being in DC to meet with the mother of Rachel Morin, who lost her life to the hands of an illegal immigrant, to console the mother and to guarantee her, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that this never happens again. No, instead, he's sipping margaritas. He's sipping margaritas with a known MS-13 gang member, right? And I want to end that with this. We're going to end that with this photo here. This is what he's doing. This is the DNC in a nutshell. America last, illegal immigrants first. And with all that being said, that does it for today's show. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video out on your social media platforms. And have a great afternoon and a safe one. Oh, Telegram. Don't forget to follow me on Telegram. Link to my Telegram in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. And until the next video, peace. And once again, have a great afternoon.